Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. So, I'm very happy that a lot of people are coming to my channel. What you need actually is a dietary channel that transformed into a boxing channel. And so you can go ahead and look at a lot of the videos that are on there, and they're really for fans of boxing, that you may enjoy boxing. This is part 2 of the best ever. When we talk about who is the best boxer ever, we have to mention, in fact, without mentioning this name, then I have to say it is high boxing heresy if you do not mention this name. In fact, currently, the best ever to ever lace them up is still, in many people's eyes, Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson espouses the sweet science. He could fight inside. He could fight on the outside. He could fight mid-range. He was slick. He understood angles. He could brawl or bang, and he could box. He could stand toe-to-toe and box in the pocket. Or he could move around the ring. He could show you a multitude of looks. Or he could pressure fight you. Sugar Ray Robinson, like Gene Tunney, was a pugilistic scientist. Coming from the school of thought that boxing is about hitting and not receiving unnecessary, undue punishment, this man, Sugar Ray Robinson, is the epitome, the icon of what pure boxing is. He had power, he had speed, he had the boxing heart, he had very good defense, and he is the first and only pound for pound boxer in the world to have that title bestowed on him in boxing because of how good he was. Sugar Ray Robinson had a career unlike modern boxers today. Coming from Harlem, New York, and being a middleweight, this man at 5'11", with a 72.5-inch reach, had 200 fights. He fought the likes of Rocky Graciano, Joey Archer, and many other great fighters of his era. He defeated all of them. But he lost 19 fights and only once was knocked out in those 200 fights, winning 173 of them and knocking out 108 boxers. What was amazing about Sugar Ray Robinson, and I draw comparisons to the legendary Gene Tunney, what was amazing about him versus Gene Tunney, I mean, he was an era or so after Gene Tunney, so this is important to remember. What was amazing about him was that Sugar Ray Robinson, he did all of his accomplishments and achieved all of his success while having, at certain points in his life, a lot of tumult and a lot of domestic problems. Nonetheless, this is one of the best ever to lace him up. Now you can find out more about Sugar Ray Robinson by again YouTubing his fights. There are several of them. And most importantly, all the other people who were influenced by him, like Sugar Ray Leonard's and Sugar Shane Mosley's, were following in the image of this great man. He has done many other things in his life before he passed away, but what is very interesting about Sugar Ray Robinson is that when you study him, like many young fighters should study him, especially if their style is more about boxing and breaking down your opponent. If you study the great Sugar Ray Robinson, now if you're a pressure fighter, you're still going to learn a couple things about him. But my point is that if you study this man and his approach to boxing, you're going to learn quite a lot about the sweet science of the sport. Alright? And I invite you all to YouTube his fights, study them very well. His contemporary Charlie Burley was an amazing fighter as well, and another sweet scientist. But because Charlie Burley never had the championship opportunities, there's no way we can rank him with Sugar Ray Robinson, who's highly decorated. So when we talk about the best ever, currently this is the best ever, Sugar Ray Robinson. And I just wanted to say that he is the #1 candidate right now for that, and it's really important for a lot of boxing fans to look at this man, study his boxing skills and techniques. And there's just so much to learn from him. It could take you a lifetime to be able to implement these things. Nonetheless, it's good to know about him. He is currently the best ever.